Good morning and welcome to the National. I didn't get my music this morning.
Did Donald Trump just say what I thought he said?
Because, in history, they say the president that was treated the worst was Abraham Lincoln, but he had the Civil War, so he had a little Civil War going. Abraham Lincoln. And Jackson was treated very badly. And a couple of others were treated. Andrew Jackson, he was treated very badly, and a few others. And I haven't seen the new list, but if I'm not number one over Abraham Lincoln, I will be very disappointed, because I don't believe any president's ever been.
Abe Lincoln was nope. Nah, never mind. Did Donald?
Good morning. First and foremost, I guess it's polite to say good morning properly. But welcome again to the National Newspaper Publicists Association's Let It Be Known. And here's the thing. This is where I need Greer to have that Molly girl, you in trouble with, because come November, this stuff is just so outrageous. It's so outrageous that you gotta believe that indeed that this is more and more likely the next president, the next person nominated anyway, whether if they can jail him beforehand, convict him beforehand, then maybe, but more and more. And he probably don't even know that Jackson's first name was Andrew. I mean, you heard the guy is, how do people deal with, his wife doesn't even deal with him. I mean, there's some classically great footage. Even recently, she refused to get in the car with him. She's the one that leads that whole he smells bad type thing. But more and more now, you could see the insanity, because the whole world is insane. It's just as simple as that. Most are not diagnosed as being insane, but they are insane. We live in an insane world. And it's getting more and more insane. You remember, it was just recently, like Snoop Dogg was like, with all types of Snoop Dogg expletives about Donald Trump and how awful this guy was and how racist he was, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing that they continue to push into the public is that, because you heard Sexy Red talk about, oh, I got a $1,200 stimmy from Uncle Trump. They continue to push the narrative, and there's black folks are doing it. Some black folks just dangle the carrot, or give me a piece of chicken. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. Give me a slice of watermelon, and I'll do the dance for you. Snoop Dogg comes out and says, I have nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump. And he goes on to say, and I quote, Donald Trump, he ain't done, just like sounded like he's on the plantation in the field picking cotton. Yes, I'm talking about Snoop Dogg, who we all love. Donald Trump, he says, he ain't done nothing wrong to me. He has done only great things for me. This is and he goes to he takes this story to the Times. Again, see, Negroes don't want to be held accountable by other Negroes. The dude goes on to say, this is where the let me give you a piece of watermelon. Let me give you some chitlins. This is where that comes in. Why does Snoop Dogg say all this? Remember Sexy Red? He gave me a $1,200 stimmy. Snoop says, well, he freed my boy, Harry O, Michael Harris. He pardoned him. So your boy commits a crime, a major crime, drug crimes, and Trump, who we're gonna, and it's so ironic because what we're gonna talk about this morning about this drugs and Trump in particular makes Snoop Dogg sounds much more ridiculous. Just go somewhere with Martha Stewart and stay there, right? We love you, Snoop, but you got to be called to the floor for this. You got to be called to account for this. Harry O and the hip hop heads love Harry O, and understandably so. Harry O's the man, but he's also the drug man, and he was doing time. It's just like, was it who did Trump pardon? He pardoned Lil Wayne. You know, you don't understand the calculation. So, Snoop, let me ask you this. Let's turn the clock back. Civil War. This whole debate over the Civil War, Nikki Haley, and all that stuff. Let's turn the clock back. The Confederacy, you're around. Confederacy says to you, Snoop, I'll give you an extra plate of, I'll let you eat from the master's table, one time if you come on this side and fight for us and to keep slavery. That's enough for you, Snoop? Is that enough for you? Harry O was in prison for a reason, a good reason. Many, many black men and women still are in jail, in prison from the 80s whole war, crack cocaine crackdown, and then the 90s war on drugs. And the one dude, Trump says, yeah, I could, because I can use him later, because Trump is crazy like a fox too. He probably banked on a Snoop Dogg one day in the heat of the election saying something like this. He probably banked on it. I mean, give me a break. Yeah, guys. Yeah, come on. We talk about Tim Scott, which is Power 96 is talking about. We talk about other folks, Candace Owens and stuff. But I'm going to tell you, and this is, when I asked this question of Flavor Flav and other rappers, but we have Flavor Flav on. That's why I mentioned Flavor Flav. What was missing during the 50th anniversary of hip hop? What did we? And this is an eye opener because it tells us what was missing. It tells us that while all these, not all of them, many of them, these iconic hip hop guys, these great wordsmiths, many of them, at least those who decide to take such a public and political platform, they're extremely uninformed, and then they make, because it happens with black folks, y'all know it. We're the only people who say, oh gosh, I hope he ain't black when something happens. I hope that person was. Oh God, we're the only ones to take that on. So these guys go out in front and they start spewing, because they have the platform. Snoop Dogg, I mean, hundreds of millions. When you combine his social media platforms, he has a couple 100 million followers. And he's very popular, and rightfully so. Snoop Dogg has earned his popularity. But when you see someone that, I mean, and here's the thing. Again, politics is politics. Politics is politics. I cover it. Don't get involved. But I cover it. So here's the thing. When you see somebody who has outwardly said that they're going to do certain things that particularly injures, decimates people who look like you, And that includes, because let's make no mistake, just because Snoop Dogg is a multi-millionaire, just because Sexy Red is making millions for a record company, doesn't mean that they're totally sharing that with, their downtrodden nephew, their aging grandmother who needs her Medicaid, Medicare. It doesn't mean that they are as given as they might present themselves as. In fact, they talk about it. It's mine. I made this money. So your family members who you are not extending that wealth to, they are dealing with what the rest of us are dealing with. They also got to be concerned, and you too, for that matter, have to be concerned driving down the street while black. That's only going to get worse under certain uh, administrations, if you will. And so to sell out because somebody got out of jail who should have been in jail is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. But here's the other part of that. In a lot of ways, the Biden-Harris administration brought this on themselves. You brought this on yourself. Yeah, in many ways. Because of something as simple as messaging. Messaging. They have never figured it out. And that's all these Democrats. They have never figured it out. And right, Greer always has perspective. She says, let's be real. Did Trump let him out? Yeah, he commuted. I believe he commuted his sentence. He didn't pardon him. So it's still on his record. But the thing about it is that's the whole thing. And Power 96 makes the point too. And folks might easily have forgotten this. If it wasn't for Johnny Cochran, Snoop Dogg would be in prison. And Power 96 mentions this too, that Snoop Dogg just started voting last election cycle. But people might not remember the murder charge Snoop had faced, and looks like he was about to head to a California prison. And Johnny Cochran did what Johnny Cochran is known to have done. And Power 96, I have no respect for people who kill or sell drugs in the black community. And now Greer's asking, did in the last election cycle, did Snoop vote for Trump? It doesn't appear that he did, because he was just, like I said, just what, not even a year ago, he was bashing him. What changed? Because what's his name had been out. He got out in 2021, Harry O. What changed? What changed? Oh, he did. She said he did. She's not asking, she's saying he did. Okay. That puts another thing on it. Wow. Yeah. And here's the thing. So let me get to this, because Harry O is in for drugs, right? New report comes out. Oh, okay. He never said he did. Greer saying that she believes that he did. Okay, that Snoop voted for Trump, but he's praising him. Harry Ho, drug dealing, whatever he was in for. It was for drugs, right? Harry O is an admitted drug dealer, and Trump commutes his sentence, and Snoop is praising Trump for it. Well, the Department of Defense, y'all got to hear this. If you haven't heard about that, the Department of Defense found that the White House handed out illicit drugs like candy during the Trump administration. Like candy. It was so bad. They put up a meme, not even a meme, a picture of the White House doctor and listed as the world's biggest drug dealer. This was a new report that the Department of Defense, after the investigation, found. They said that drugs were just as prevalent. Listen to this. Listen to this line. This is someone who is the leading Republican candidate and who's threatening everybody could be your president again. Uh, they said drugs were just as prevalent in Trump's White House as they are in a pharmacy. You can find more drugs in the White House under Trump than if you went into CVS or Walgreens. Investigators said they found an, quote, obscene lack of control over the handling of things like, was it Ambien, however you want to say it. All of these control. And here's the other part of it that was so interesting. Many of these, like oxycodone and stuff like, they did not prescribe them to an individual. Many of the pill bottles and stuff didn't have the person's name on it, which is illegal. They would just, and then some they found, and that had names on it of people who didn't exist. So who do you suppose had to hide their identity in order to be high all the time? Who do you suppose? Because remember, like we lost some big superstars to stuff like this, right? Prince, Michael Jackson, and you know what they would do? They would get prescriptions under somebody else's name. Austin says, how many times did Snoop visit the White House pharmacy, then proceed to the Oval Office to meet with Trump? Angela Connolly says, I thought Trump was against illegal drugs in the country. And David Youngblood mentions that Dr. Ronnie Jackson was in charge of the White House medical teams. The White House, the White House's medical unit and the personnel there conceded that there were severe and systemic problems under the administration of Donald Trump. Provigil. What is Provigil? Anybody know? Provigil. What is that? Ambien, stuff like that. Crushed up stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, and then here's the other problem with this. Here's the other problem with what they found in the investigation. So the Ambien and the other medication, right? They got the brand names. You go to you get your prescription and they give you the generic version or whatever to keep the cost down. The other problem that the Department of Defense found was that Trump's White House would always get the brand name, which cost thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, one unit spent an estimated $46,500 on brand name Ambien, which was 174 times more expensive than the generic equivalent. This is what they were doing in the White House. Yeah, no, David, I know he died from. David says Michael Jackson's drug is propofol. Yeah, he did, but he also had like 100 other prescriptions, like Rick James, under different names and stuff. And this is what celebrities normally do, right? They send out and they have I guess a deal with the pharmacy. Listen, don't put it under my name, which is illegal. Austin Cooper says now he's Dr. Congressman Ronnie Jackson. Yeah. Unbelievable. And so here's what else is in store. Snoop, one of Trump's biggest supporters, Charlie Kirk. This is what else is in store. And you gotta love Joy Reid. You don't like Joy Reid, that's on you. But you gotta love Joy Reid. Joy Reid always breaks it down. And so she posed this question that people certainly should consider. She asked, are all right wingers just doing defamation now for sport? The famous MSNBC News host was responding to a highly inflammatory and definitely defamatory post by the ultra right wing, MAGA loving, race baiting Charlie Kirk, who posted that New York City Councilman Yusef Salaam, y'all know Yusef, exonerated 5. This is what Kirk, because what happened, to set the stage, Yusef was pulled over by the police in New York the other day, harassed and not given a reason why he was pulled over. And so they didn't ticket him, but they simply pulled him over, apparently, allegedly, to harass him. Which begs another question. When's the last time a councilman, and this is why I'm going back, Snoop Dogg, driving while black? But when's the last time somebody, a council person in general has been pulled over by police? I mean, come on. But anyway, Charlie Kirk, because Yusef publicly complained about that incident, which he certainly has the right to do and should. Charlie Kirk posts that Yusef should be quiet because, quote, he took part in a gruesome gang rape of a jogger in Central Park. Joy, of course, noted that Salaam and his 4 teenager friends, now known as the Exonerated 5, were falsely accused of the heinous crime and incarcerated for up to a dozen years, missing their childhoods while locked in an adult prison for a crime they did not commit. In fact, Mattia Reyes, the person who actually committed the crime, confessed 12 years later while he was serving a life sentence for murder. And then, most importantly, DNA evidence absolved the Exonerated 5. And of course, New York had to pay out a multi-million-dollar settlement. Joy goes on to say, well, I'm just going to note that E. Jean Carroll's attorney, Roberta Kaplan, just won her case in a big way, so she just might have some time. Joy added that, I also note that accusing black men of raping white women is as old and common a practice as there is in post-slavery America. And Power 96 notes that I am still waiting on a so-called black conservative to speak out against the Charlie Kirks of the GOP. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing, which is, it's sad on his face. Not being able to, being so caught up because you're not in the field picking cotton, you're in the big house, waiting for master to drop some chitlins on you, from the table. You won't say nothing about a Charlie Kirk. You won't say nothing about the crimes, the apparent crimes of Clarence Thomas, the apparent crimes of others who are conservative. It's amazing. It is really amazing. David Youngblood says Charlie Kirk is a lying bigot who gets a large audience out of racist clicks for saying lies. Yeah, it's one thing to, it's bad enough to lie, but that's, as Joy points out, defamation. And Charlie Kirk's master, Donald Trump, was just hit with an $83.3 million defamation and sexual assault verdict that in order to appeal, and this is the beautiful thing when it comes to stuff like this, in order to appeal, he must put up $92 million. He must put that up. Because when she won $5 million from him, E. Jean Carroll, that is, won $5 million in a judgment for Trump sexually assaulting her last year. He said he would appeal, so he had to put up $8.5 million to the court, which they hold in a whatever, what do you call it? But they hold it, and which means that he can't just sit there and say, "I'm going to appeal," and not appeal. The clock starts to tick, and then the E. Jean Carroll can escrow. Thank you, David. Can start collecting. Now the question is if he's going to be able to put up that $92 million that is going to take to hold off her from collecting for now. Which is why a lot of times in these cases, even after the fact, there's a quiet settlement that goes on where he may, E.G. may say, all right, I'll let you off the hook a little bit, just a little bit. Instead of 83, give me 50 million. Either way, it definitely, I mean, look, it decimates his wallet, his bank account. It decimates his campaign too. Now, the thing is, they can say all they want. Oh, he ain't raising no 83, $92 million. He's not. For just for this. If he's raising that, he needs it for his campaign. And here's the other thing. Not that he's held accountable for breaking any laws, but you can't use your campaign funds to pay settlement of a lawsuit unrelated to the campaign. Bison for Life says, don't forget Candace Owens tap dancing for clicks, bashing black folks constantly. Welcome to Let It Be Known, Bison for Life. Bison, is that HU? Is that HU? Let us know. But yeah, Power 96 is 92 million. My main man OJ said he is not available for that job. Oh my gosh. And so it also means so OJ had no income except his pension, which happened to be $28,000 a month. A whole lot of money. Good for you, OJ. I mean, good for anybody who can have, not OJ himself, but anybody who can have $28,000 a month for their pension. But you can't in California where that suit took place. You can't in a lot of states too, but California certainly is one. You can't attach a pension to a judgment. So OJ was able to, as Power 96 said, that's not my OJ said, yep, he's not up for that job. And yes, Bison for Life, of course, HU, and David says the real surprise comes this week with Judge Engeron and Letitia James. Yeah. Not really. I mean, well, is it going to be much of a surprise? I mean, the only surprise if they don't slam him with at least another $250 million judgment. Tish James is looking for 370 now. She started at 250, and then she came to our well, not ours, but the Congressional Black Caucus Legislative Conference. We had our thing. That's why I said ours at the same time. But and she declared there when I'm bringing home $250 million from him. Austin says, let's not forget Tish James is setting her financial dinner table for Trump's last supper. Southbound 3000 said, we here working. That's what I like. Southbound watches while he working. That's good. But yeah, the judgment should come in. It should be sometime this week. It is going to be a judgment. it's not a matter of them finding him not guilty because the judge has already determined that he, and the judge's words, is guilty of massive, quote, this is a quote, massive business fraud. Tish James wants 370 plus million fine, and she also wants the judge to rule, which he's absolutely going to do. You can take this to the bank, that Trump is not allowed to do business in the state of New York again. You know, we just came back from Florida, and the South is a heck of a place. But they want to, and we talked about this last week too. We had Austin, you know, folks see Austin's white beard and the hat and everything, and he chilling on the couch. I mean, he getting all these cat calls and stuff, you know. But anyway, I digress. But they want to, the legislature there wants to pay Trump's legal bills, not his judgments, his legal bills, pay his counsel, which is absolutely crazy. I spoke to some of the publishers there, Black Press Publishers. You know, we had our midwinter training conference, and we had, you know, a number of publishers from around the country, and including Bob Bogle of the Philadelphia Tribune, and of course Bobby Henry, the chair of the NMPA and publisher of West Side Gazette. And those two, among others, is that legal? You know, that they you can't craft a legislation to pay the legal bills of a politician or anyone else for that matter. But once again, and I think it was Mr. Bogle who I said this to. Once again, until proven otherwise, until shown otherwise, when it comes to anything that could be criminal. Now, we see civilly this is not the case, but criminally, Donald J. Trump is above the law until proven otherwise. Now, civilly, E. Jean Carroll has knocked his socks off. Civilly, Tish James is about to clean his clock. But criminally, yeah, 91 charges, 91 felony counts, 4 indictments, twice impeached, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Criminally, it remains to be seen if he is going to be held accountable. I keep saying that it's not going to happen. It just doesn't appear that let me just again simplify it. He has placed himself in a position, appointed all these federal judges, has the Supreme Court in his hip pocket. Donald J. Trump is the one man in America, outside of the Supreme Court justices themselves, that are above the law. And so the challenge for the special counsel, the challenge for homegirl down in Atlanta, and I would say the judge in Florida, but she is a MAGA lover, and she will do everything in her power possibly to make sure that that trial never happens. But prove me wrong. I challenge y'all. Prove me wrong. Power 96 was watching all week, and I know why he was watching. He says y'all put on a nice event last week. A lot of the event was live streamed, which it was. Much respect to the Black press. And we know Power 96 is a major supporter of the Black press. He is one of those individuals who, like Stephanie Mills, he reminds me of Stephanie Mills. No, he can't sing. At least I don't know if he can sing. But anything Black, Stephanie is going to support. Stephanie is there for the cause. Power 96 is there for the cause. He's there. He's down for the cause. But he's also down for the red bone. That's one reason why he's watching. But that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about it another time. Let's turn our attention to let's keep our attention in the South. A Mississippi man has a shot at a new trial after his death penalty conviction was tossed out by a district judge. Why? Well, the prosecutor was found to have some sleazy racist practices including keeping Black jurors from the courtroom. Terry Pitchford is now 37 years old, and he was charged in the killing of a Grenada County store owner at just 18 years old. That's another problem I have with like Mississippi, Grenada County. Anyway, prosecutors claimed in 2004 that Pitchford and his friend opened fire inside Crossroads Grocery and traced the shots back to a gun that was later recovered from Pitchford's vehicle. 2 years later, Pitchford confessed that he tried to rob the store and admitted to his role in the fatal incident. He was swiftly found guilty and sent to death row. The report says that the state Supreme Court upheld his conviction in 2010, but it wasn't until now that someone realized that something smelled quite funny. Pitchford's attorneys didn't have the proper chance to challenge the state in their decision to strike Black jurors from the jury pool. U.S. District Judge Michael Mills said former District Attorney Doug Evans had a history of sidelining Black people, keeping them away from the jury pool. And in Pitchford's case, the jury pool of 61 white people and 35 Black people came down to 36 white people. And they said they struck many of the jurors for objecting to Pitchford receiving the death penalty. Now, Judge Mills said that the state has 6 months to retry him or else they must release him. Unreal. What go? Look, he was doing something wrong. Now the thing is, how part of the story is how did they get a confession out of him, and did he actually do it? Bison for Life says he's followed Newswire forever on social media, but just discovered this live stream. Oh, well, welcome. We are daily, yes, Monday through Friday. I guess that's daily on weekdays, Monday through Friday. Share it with your friends, Bison. We were in Howard not long ago. We had an event there not long ago. Yeah, definitely. We welcome you. Share the broadcast. We try to bring some headlines that perhaps others not really talking about, or at least we give it a Black press hook. Power 96 says the Redbone was on 10 during her speech. He says that thing was banging. We were talking about you, Power 96, by the way. We were talking about you, Miss Montgomery, and us. I say I'm going to refer to her as Miss Montgomery, not the Redbone. we were talking about you. Jam Master J, JMJ are the letters of his name. Cutting and scratching are the aspects of his game. Love Jam Master J, love Run DMC. Today, the trial begins of 2 men accused of killing Jam Master J in Queens a couple of decades ago. 3 men actually are on trial. Prosecutors allege that the men were dealing drugs with Jay at the time that they shot him in the head over a deal gone bad in his studio. In 2020, authorities charged 2 of the men, Ronald Washington and Carl Jordan Jr., with 1 count each of murder while engaging in drug trafficking and another count each of firearm-related murder. Jordan faces more charges of distributing cocaine. Both of those guys pleaded not guilty, and their trial is going to take place beginning this morning, as we said, in the Eastern District of New York in Brooklyn. They are going to have an anonymous jury impaneled, and these men face a minimum of 20 years in prison if they are convicted. Last May, prosecutors also charged Jay Bryant with 1 count of murder while engaging in narcotics trafficking and other drug trafficking counts. Prosecutors claim he was with Washington on the day of the murder. Brian's trial will likely begin next year. He recently took a plea deal in an unrelated drug charge and will be sentenced in March, according to a report in the New York Daily News. Now, I think we must say this because everybody run DMC, Russell Simmons, everybody who knew and were close to Jay, all expressed some either surprise or expressed doubt that Jay was dealing drugs. The drug angle, just to be clear, has come from police investigators. Now, obviously, they took Jay's life for whatever reason, but we don't know because everybody's talked about, and he was very prolific in the community for not drugs, for being an inspiration, being somebody who always had a laugh for you, always had a positive word for you. So the drug angle, and I'm saying it's not true because I just don't know. But listening to those who have been around him, and not just Running D, his bandmates, not just Russell, but so many others like Jay and drugs. People have said you can mention just about anybody else, but Jay. So, and there was no real evidence. There was some talk early on about his having some financial issues, and I know concerts don't. We tend to think, oh, so they're giving a concert, they done made a lot of money. I know that isn't always the case. I say that just to say that it was only, if my memory serves me correct, it was just like months earlier that Run DMC with Jay were I saw them in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, at a concert. So I'm not sure the angle. And he had the studio there. He was producing folks, and producing records does make for quite a decent living. So I don't know. But anyway, we're not here to litigate that. What we're here to do is let you know that these folks are going on trial beginning today. I remember his funeral so well. In fact, I always remember and I didn't know it was happening, but I was half a block away visiting someone when he was killed. Half a block away from his studio. Right there where there's a bus terminal there, there's the library. And later, real later, guess it was middle of the night when I was leaving to go home. Even when I left, I didn't see any activity from Jay's studio. We all knew his studio was there. You go up these stairs there, the outside stairs too. And I didn't see any activity to suggest that anything was amiss. Of course, didn't even have no idea he was there at the time. And certainly didn't have any idea that he lay dead on the floor there. But the next morning, Jay was killed. Jam Master Jay. Like, Jay who? Jam Master Jay. Where? When? At his studio. When? It's like late at night. I was there. I was like a half a block away. Remember going to the funeral, covering his funeral. It had like New York City police on the rooftops around with sharpshooters and binoculars. I'm like, who are they? Who are you looking for? But it's today. It's happening today. It's beginning today. The trial of those who assassinated the great Jam Master Jay. And speaking of Jam Master Jay, let's just turn around to some more positive news. Peacock has shared the official trailer for Kings from Queens, the Run DMC story, a documentary exploring the career and legacy of the iconic hip hop group. Those guys, Run DMC. And you know, most people might not know this, and we had a chance to talk to DMC about this. Um, he is huge into like Comic Con and stuff like that. He has the figurines and all that stuff. He loves that stuff. In fact, the funny story, most recent funny story about DMC, I had him on our live, and he was in his living room, right? And we're having an interview, discussing all this stuff, and someone knocks on his door, and he goes, "This is live. We got folks watching. This is live." And he goes, "You got to excuse me for a second. You got to excuse me." He said, "I got to get that because it's my wife and she got groceries." And yeah, we are gonna invite DMC to come on and talk about the documentary, which is supposed to air, I think, beginning in February. So it's coming right up. But yeah, he says he comes back and gets on camera again. He goes, "Look, my man, you would have done the same thing. My wife left her key. Imagine me leaving her out there because I'm doing a live." I thought, wow, that was some cool. That's some cool stuff. That was some cool stuff. But the three-part series is produced by Believe Entertainment Group and follows Joseph, the Reverend Run Simmons, and Daryl DMC McDaniels and Jason Jam Master J Mizell back to the 80s. And in a statement, the official description, not a statement, says that y'all may know the broad strokes, the Adidas hard shells, the chains, the glasses, the iconic hooks and massive hits, but few know the whole story. The story of how three kids from Queens busted onto the scene in 1983, shattered racial barriers, and changed music forever. Yeah, Power 96 says Run DMC saved Adidas. That company owes them. They had a special just a couple years ago. I did a story about it. Special, it was in 2020. Special edition, Run DMC Adidas edition, and I don't know what happened to it because I wanted a pair. It was really nice. It was really nice. I have a friend in New York. She is like the biggest Run DMC fan in the history of Run DMC fans. Everything is Run DMC for her. Has always been. Um, you know who I'm talking about. Her name is Tracy. Um, but the documentary features all these great interviews with Run and others. Of course, DMC. DMC is he speaks more than Run. But nonetheless, Ice Cube was interviewed, LL is interviewed, Questlove, Beastie Boys, Ice T, the great Chuck D, Salt from Salt and Pepper, Dougie Fresh, Big Daddy Kane, MC Light, Ed Lover, Jermaine Dupri, and so many more of them are in this documentary, giving you some insights on the Kings from Queens. Kings from Queens comes Kings. That's right. Um, the producer is Run DMC. Run and D are executive producers, I should say. And Run says, "I am very happy that the world is going to see our great story. So thankful for all that participated in helping us over the years." He says, "I started out as a young DJ Run and ended up impacting the world with my group, Run DMC. I am blessed to have been on this amazing journey." And DMC adds that this documentary will reach, teach, and educate people on the Run DMC dynamic. He says, "I know people will see themselves in our journey, and I am hopeful that the next 50 years of hip hop will be a movement of positive improvement and creativity in the same way we change music and the world." Yes, Run DMC. I have a cousin, not past tense, Keith. When Sucker MCs came out in 83, I mean, this kid would eat, sleep, and drink that song, and he rocks. He has this habit of rocking, this nervous habit. Just he always rocks, right in the chair, even when he's laying in the bed, he's sleeping, he's rocking, and you could always find Keith rocking, singing. 2 years ago, a friend of mine asked, you're like, oh Lord. And every time that song came on, me and my brothers and sisters, we would think about Keith. If he wasn't around, we'd be thinking 2 years ago. Keith is he's quite the individual. Quite the individual. But Run DMC, that should be a great documentary. It's unfortunate. Well, I don't know if it's unfortunate, but Peacock is not one, that many people have, right? Now you gotta subscribe and all that stuff. Netflix, come on. I mean, they actually keep it real. Run DMC deserves the big screen treatment. They deserve well, you got to go to the movies to see them. They should be under, but I guess this is the way it is now, right? Not many go to the big screen anyway. I mean, if they go to the big screen in the movie theaters, it's only in there for a couple of days before it's already like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or some streaming platform. So Paramount. I'm naming them all because one of them going to sponsor us one day, so I don't want to leave them out. So there you have it. Check out the Kings from Queens. Man, I was Queens. I went to school there in Francis Lewis Boulevard, Andrew Jackson. And yeah, it's funny. We started the show with Trump saying Jackson, President Jackson. He wouldn't say Andrew, but Andrew Jackson was the school I went to, and would walk up to 204th, 205th Street, 104th Avenue, all the time, every day. Seems like after school, visiting. I was in high school. I had a high school girlfriend. All right, stop playing with me, Greer. Greer's starting trouble, y'all. Where you at, Austin? She says Trump is from Queens. Well, I mean, every borough has its criminals. Oh, did I say that? Trump is from Queens. Watch it. It's a shame. And Power 96 started off. Greer's trying to finish it, but Power 96 starts off my morning by reminding me that since the Kansas City Chiefs won the AFC Championship yesterday, that we're going to see another couple of weeks of Taylor Swift. Just cruel and unusual punishment. And he says, I grew up with that generation of hip hop artists. We all were Run DMC in the talent show. Absolutely. He had the big chain, the hat, and you definitely had Adidas with no shoestrings in them. I did not win them. I bought them off the ad with my black lead denim. Oh Lord, I tell you, see, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right. Too much. Come on, y'all. Tell me what. I mean, this guy is like 350 pounds. Kelsey, how big is Kelsey? And she's like, she's an maybe that's what it is with her, right? She's just an ordinary person. There's nothing outstanding. She has no outstanding quality as far as appearance is concerned. I mean, Tiger Woods had better looking women than her, if you can believe that. Flavor of Love. No, let me stop. But come on. It's not, and I know it's not just about the looks, and that's what Travis is saying. It ain't about the looks. What else could he be saying, right? It's not about the look. I was telling, we only got a couple minutes left. I'm just killing time, y'all. I was telling my mom yesterday. I said, one of my uncles and Aunt Pam is watching, so I'm gonna tell her which one, Paul. One of the things about him that I learned. I said, I only learned one thing from my uncle. Just one thing. He never brought an ugly woman home. Every woman he brought home was like, as a kid, I was like, oh shoot. I mean, come on. That's the one thing I cannot. You marry an ugly person, you're gonna have ugly kids. Don't believe me? Follow an ugly kid home one day and guarantee you somebody ugly answers the door. Um, Power, Power 96 says she flops like a fish when she dance. Yeah, unfortunately, the Ravens did blow it. Greer says she feels bad for Lamar. Yeah, we also we got to hang out a little bit with the Ravens. Greer, what was his name? Anna's gonna be mad at me. I'm forgetting his name, but we got to hang out at the legislative our awards in September. Him and his then pregnant girlfriend, and she recently had a baby. Congratulations! I can't think of your name though. And Anna and I was just talking about them the other day because Anna and her fiance were planning to head to Baltimore for the big game. Ravens and Lions. The Lions, David, the Lions, I'm gonna tell you, the Lions coach choked. He absolutely choked. He couldn't meet the moment. The Lions had that game. It was 24-10. And I called it. It was like 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. I called it. In fact, I even stopped watching. The backup quarterback, Power 96. Yeah, if you know his name. But the coach of the Lions, 24-10, 4th down and 2, within field goal range. Anybody will tell you especially in a playoff game, in a championship game, just get the points. Kick the field goal, and it's 27-10. Now it's a 17-point, a 3-possession lead. The dude goes for it on 4th down. And of course, they didn't make it. And immediately the 49ers drive down and score. Now it's 24-17. And then they turn the ball over. And 49ers tie it up and then go ahead. Now the 49ers are up and another chance, 27-24 in the fourth quarter. 27-24. 4th and 3. Within field goal range, tie the game. What does this guy do? He goes for it. Tie the game. Field goal. Yes, the Lions coach came from the New Orleans Saints. He blew that. It's on him. And yeah, the players got to execute. Yes, it's true. But you got to put them in a position to do so. That's what coaches do. That's what coaches are paid to do. This guy, twice. It's not that I had a rooting interest, but it would have been nice to see Detroit go to the Super Bowl. It would have been nice. But this guy, twice, kicked a field goal. You know, his field goal kicker should have kicked him. I mean, come on, you got to be kidding me. And they lost by what? What did they lose by? A field goal. They lose by a field goal, right? What's the score? I mean, come on. And yes, there it is. The Super Bowl in 2 weeks. And hopefully they will talk about Usher, not Taylor Swift, because Usher has the halftime show. Who's going to, okay. The halftime show is about 10 minutes. So yeah, that answers my own question. Who's going to have more airtime? Taylor Swift or Usher? Usher's got 10 minutes of airtime. It's going to be all Taylor Swift all the time. And the shame of it all is I didn't mind rooting for Kansas City until they started just with this Taylor Swift stuff constantly. And I know Flavor Flav is like going probably, yeah, boy, what you talking about, boy? That's my girl. I'm a Swiftie. Yeah, Flavor, I get it, but I don't get it. Michelle Madison said there are so many people that are distraught about the Ravens' loss in Baltimore and surrounding areas. I am really being concerned with their health. Is it that serious, Michelle? Wow. Is it that serious? Oh, Dr. Nicole says, I believe they expand halftime to like 20 minutes for the Super Bowl. Okay, so we got 20 minutes of Usher. How who's got the Super Bowl? Paramount or Fox? Who's got the Super Bowl? Guarantee you. And don't let it be Peacock or NBC because they are certainly I like Mike Tirico, but all he does is Taylor Swift, every play, I'm sure he's telling the cameraman, show Taylor, show Taylor. Uh-oh. We're not going there, Power 96. Greer is not going to allow us to go there. He said Usher came out in a dress. Fix it. If Usher wants to come out in a dress, if he wants to come out in a leotard, if you want to come out in a bra, that's on Usher. That's on Usher. It's up to Usher. If he wants to come out wearing a tutu, it's on Usher. But I don't want to see, I'm telling you right now, if it's I don't care who it is. I don't want to see the whole game of Taylor Swift. And I don't want to see her on the podium. They did a good job of that yesterday. I will say this. They didn't like put her on the podium and stuff like that. She was on the field and whatever, help celebrate with a boyfriend, her future ex-boyfriend. Because you know she's gonna have another boyfriend soon enough. Unless Kelsey's got something that these other guys don't, which is a Super Bowl championship, I guess. Maybe it takes a Super Bowl championship for her to stick with a man. Look at that. Oh, MG. Come on. Get that off the screen. Swiftly get Taylor off the screen. Anyway, folks, so we got some good stuff coming up. Stay tuned. I mean, we even got like Dave Hollister coming up. We got other stuff coming up. I'm gonna be across the pond, so we're gonna make some appearances from across the pond. That's right. We going where no other Black Press show has ever gone. Y'all better get with us. Tell your friends. Tell your kids. Tell your wife. Don't hide your kids and hide your wife. Bring them out. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.